So, just a little ditty before I go to work. I want you to know, this is not some super criticism of Tim Pool. Movies are all subjective, so I figured I'd just throw down a response to this real quick. I hope I'm not too terribly loud. If it is, I'll redo it again when I get home. But
I realized something a couple days ago. I don't care about Star Wars anymore. You know, there was a point...
That's a defeatist attitude to take, Tim. Come on, man.
In the theater, during The Last Jedi, I got really, really angry. And I really wanted to walk out. Because, you know, let me start by saying this. I really don't understand a lot of the social justice, criticism that people
I do.
have about The Last Jedi, because I didn't really notice it. People call Admiral Holdo Admiral Gender Studies.
I call her Admiral SJW. Yeah.
I didn't see it. Princess Leia, she was a princess, in the beginning. She was a strong character, and, Hunger Games has Katniss, Wonder Woman. It didn't mean anything to me that they shoehorned in a character who was female. A lot of people have said that, the attempt was to shoehorn in a strong female character. To me, I don't really care about that. If that's the reason why the movie was bad, or why Holdo was a bad character, maybe, but all that matters is Holdo...
She was a third-wave feminist. She kind of emasculated Poe with that throwing him in the brig, and then Princess Leia shot Poe with a stun gun? Really? Imagine if Princess Leia had shot Han Solo with a stun gun. We'd be like, what?
Was a bad character. There are shows, like Game of Thrones has a lot of strong female characters. What's her name? Brianna? I can't remember the name, but she's the bodyguard, King's protector woman. Yeah, that's cool. Doesn't mean anything to me that they made a strong woman character. She's a great character. It's a great show. And you've got a lot of characters in the show who are female, strong, and great. And I don't notice anything. I mean, oh God,
I don't mind strong female characters. I just SJW stuff. Facepalm.
Forgetting everyone's names. I haven't watched the show in so long. But the Queen of Dragons, Khaleesi, whatever her name is, strong female character, brutal, dragon fire, all that cool stuff. No one complains about her being shoehorned or anything, right? I think what happens is that when you have a bad character, people assume it must be because it was, an SJW attempt. It was like a social justice attempt. No, I think they just wrote a bad character. It was entirely possible for them to write Admiral Holdo in a way that was acceptable and fine.
Without having her be an SJW or a third, fourth wave feminist. Exactly.
My issue with that movie was that it was terrible. Right? Okay, I've made a video complaining about it before, when the movie came out, but I want to talk about Star Wars being dead, so bear with me as I go through some of these points, but why would they go to that, Canto Bight planet, the gambling planet, not get the guy they came for, and then bring back some random guy? All the random guy did, DJ, to sell out the rebellion was point out the window. Seriously? Apparently, energy weapons arc in space. I don't understand how that works.
I don't remember that.
I can do mental gymnastics to try and figure out how this stuff works. One of the coolest things about Star Wars in the prequels was when they do those. They drop some. I think it was Episode 2. They drop these bombs in space, and you see the flash, and then you wait. A few seconds later, you hear the explosion to simulate that light travels faster than sound. A lot of people think there's no sound in space, but I'm pretty sure there is. I think that might be a myth, or we may have updated our science. Regardless of whether or not it functions properly, you can see that in the past, they've tried to do things that felt consistent with the universe. To me, it seems like Star Wars is totally inconsistent. The new ones are inconsistent with their own rules. Why were the energy blasts from the one ship arcing in space? Why couldn't they just look out the window and see the rebellion? Why was the whole movie a slow-speed space chase? Why could, hyperspace jumping destroy a ship, but they...
Well, I'll give you a quote from A New Hope. Dustin Crops ain't I'm paraphrasing. Dustin Crops ain't like flying a starship. Without proper calculations, you could fly right through a star, bounce too close to supernova, and that would end your trip real quick. That's why. It goes all the way back to A&H.
There's a bunch of things about it I thought was bad, but ultimately I thought the writing was really, really bad. The one part that just killed it for
You're going to have to blame that on Rian Johnson.
me was when Finn is going to sacrifice himself to destroy the mini Death Star weapon, and Rose somehow goes faster than him, turns around and slams into him, and then says something to the effect of, "We're not going to win by destroying what we hate, but saving what we love." And I'm like, he wasn't killing anybody he hated. Like, Finn was trying to destroy a weapon. He didn't hate the weapon.
Sure.
He didn't know anything about it. He was trying to
I would
protect
say
the
that's
people in the
SJW
cave.
stuff.
And to me, I was just like, oh my God, this
stuff being
was awful.
injected in it.
And then I left. And
On a side note, Tim, I actually liked the character Rose. Kelly Marie Tran played her. I don't know what all the hate for her was. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I still don't get it to this day. I'll defend her and her role to this day. I've never understood that.
And I was really angry for a while. I liked The Force Awakens. I thought Rogue One was awesome. I did not see Solo.
Well, you're going to have to go see Solo. See, that was the whole point of all this Star Wars is dead stuff. You had the whole boycott and stuff, and that influenced people because of The Last Jedi not to go see Solo. So I would encourage you to go see Solo. Solo is better than The Last Jedi, not as good as Rogue One, but not as good as The Force Awakens. It's better than The Last Jedi, and it's not as good as Rogue One. But I would encourage you to go see it. It does have some SJW stuff in it. I will warn you right now.
After The Last Jedi, I was angry about it. I talked about it. And then I kind of, realized...
Oh, wait, you can't go see it. It's not on DVD yet, sorry. Well, whatever it is, pick it up out of Redbox and go watch it. It's actually pretty good.
The other day, dude,
And just, if the timeline confuses you at the end, tweet me. I'll explain it to you.
I'm not going to go see any more of those movies. Like, I don't understand how I convey just how much The Last Jedi soured me on Star Wars as a franchise. And then you know what else it is too? It's Battlefront 2. If you're familiar, I bet there's probably a lot of people who have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you did, sorry if you left. Battlefront 2 with the loot box controversy. I used to play Battlefront all the time. I used to play.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never did buy Battlefront 2. I used to play like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. Cool stuff like that back in the day.
Knights of the Old... I binged Knights of the Old Republic.
I have played that.
That game was amazing. And Jedi Knight, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Battlefront and Battlefront 2. Me and my friends would sit around all day just playing Battlefront on Xbox. Awesome. Battlefront 2 comes out, the new version. And they have the loot box controversy. And I was just like, dude, I'm not going to play it. Like, I'm not going to play a pay-to-win game, I was excited for it. And then I started seeing videos of all the bugs and all the problems with it. And I was like, wow, this game's bad. Like, a bunch of videos came out showing that...
I don't know about the bugs, man. That's what patches are for.
Like, the game didn't work, like the campaign mode. And then with the loot boxes, and they were like, we're getting rid of them. They temporarily got rid of them and brought them back. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to buy that game. Like, I don't play pay-to-win games. I don't know if you guys play Destiny, but when they introduced...
It's just like World of Tanks. You buy gold, you get premium tanks, or in World of Warcraft, you buy gold and get premium armor. I guess that's what this is. I don't know. Surely you don't have to do that. I don't know.
The Eververse and the upgrades for the weapons and armor and stuff, you could pay to get those things. Like, you could buy them, sort of. You could buy the low-level upgrades and then turn them into legendary upgrades. So it was essentially like you could skip some of the game by buying stuff, and that partly bummed me out. I think the game kind of screwed itself. But anyway, back to Star Wars. I was somebody was talking to me about what they're going to do for the next movie with Carrie Fisher having passed, and I was like, and I just went about my business. And then
what they're going to do is, what I've heard is that J.J. Abrams is going to use unused footage from The Force Awakens somehow in Episode 9. That's way better, I guess, than recasting, because if they recast the character of Princess Leia, no one would be having that. We'd actually doing a CGI thing, that would be kosher, but they've already said they're not going to do that. So I don't know. That's just what I've heard.
I stopped and I was like, whoa, I don't care. I was so excited for The Force Awakens,
Why care?
I was excited for Rogue One. Man, I used to play these Star Wars games all the time, and I was super into it. And then I decided to...
Dude, here's the point. You were super excited for Rogue One, but you let Star Wars Episode 8 disappoint you so much that you're not going to watch any of the other Star Wars movies? I don't know if that's the way to go, bro. That's not the way to go. At least that's not the way I'd go. Occasionally, in any franchise, you have a movie that doesn't meet expectations. Does that mean you should dump the whole franchise? No. At least I wouldn't.
Google search Star Wars is dead. And I found this article from ZDNet. It's from December. It says, Star Wars is dead, Gen Xers get over it. I can't believe...
Google search Star Wars is not dead. Then you'll... Both perspectives. Star Wars is not dead. Google search that.
It's already been, like 9 months since this came out. But there are a lot of people that are blaming it on social justice. And saying, that it was them trying to diversify the genre or
I don't care about diversity of movies. I don't care about it. It's just, you can have diversity of movies, just don't make it SJW. Come on. Don't force it. I don't think the character of Rose Tico was forced at all. That's what people say, but I don't think it was forced. Actually, I thought the character was pretty cute. You should have seen Kelly Marie Tran when she went on the red carpet to the premiere of The Last Jedi. She was so happy to be a part of the Star Wars franchise. She literally almost, I think she did start crying. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, go look that up. I mean, she's a huge Star Wars fan, and for people to bash her character is just that sets me off.
Like they say Rose Tico was a shoehorned diversity hire.
No, she wasn't.
I also don't agree with that. There's no reason that Rose Tico could not have been a good character just because she's an Asian female. Personally, I was really excited for the idea of Rose. Rey, being a female literally meant nothing to me. A lot of people were really like...
Well, with Rey, when The Force Awakens came out, everybody was like, Rey's a Mary Sue. I was like, come on. I really liked the character Rey. I really did.
Oh, it's social justice. And I'm like...
Yeah, and that wasn't...
It's not social justice, man. It's bad writers.
That wasn't, but Last Jedi was glaringly social justice. Glaringly.
Something about... And maybe that is an aspect that people are talking about. So correct me if I'm wrong. But there are a lot of people that refer, like I mentioned, they talked about Admiral Holdo as Admiral Gender Studies, and I'm like...
Well, I call her Admiral SJW.
Like, dude, I don't care who...
And it wasn't even the purple hair. It really wasn't the purple hair.
She is, what color she is, or anything like that. I just care that what she does makes sense, and it fits the story, and I felt like it didn't do that.
It didn't do that,
one of the arguments
right.
is that in the attempt to shoehorn in new characters, it ends up, making the story bad, but you...
I still contend that it's not shoehorning in diversity or different characters, it's shoehorning in SJW tactics. I will stand by that until I can be convinced otherwise.
Really can introduce new characters in a way that works.
Mm-hmm.
Rose didn't need to go on a camel adventure. Because I went to Canto Bight and then they rode the camels with Finn. It didn't need to happen.
No, it didn't need to happen. I think they stuck that in there for the kiddies who were watching it. That's really what I thought.
She could have done something entirely different.
Yeah.
And her character would have been amazing. Right? I didn't understand why she attacked Finn in the first place. She knew he was a hero of the rebellion, and he could have...
Oh, that you're talking about a scene. He was trying to go rogue again and desert the resistance, basically, because he tried that in The Force Awakens, and he ended up coming back and helping out. And he's in this situation where he hasn't made up his mind where he's going to stay with him, and she considers him a hero, but then she figures out, oh, you're about to run away. Oh, no.
She said, I'm on a secret mission. Shh. And she would have been like, okay. Like, the writing just felt like it made no sense. And you know what? There's another point. I always bring this up. Where Finn, I think it's Finn, Rose, and Poe, or whoever, they're on the destroyer, and there's stormtroopers everywhere. And then after the hyperspace jump, okay, and the ship gets cracked in half, it shows Finn again, and the stormtroopers are gone. And then Phasma, who is literally standing next to him, she's at the other end of the hall now. I'm like, dude, the continuity errors, the bad writing.
Ooh, I have to go watch it again. I didn't notice that. Now I'll go watch it again.
The real problem, in my opinion, was, for one, J.J. Abrams stepping back and Rian Johnson coming in. Rian Johnson's an overt partisan.
Yeah. But J.J. Abrams didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. But he has... I think I heard somewhere he wishes he had. So, yeah.
On Twitter, it's really annoying. But there's something that I think needs to be pointed out. I'm not really going to read this article, sorry. Was particularly this quote. let the past die, kill it if you have to. What that says to me, I don't know what Rian Johnson or whoever wrote the script meant. I think it was Rian Johnson wrote the script. I don't know what they meant by this. But what it said to me was that Rian Johnson does not care or like Star Wars. In fact, he wanted to ruin it on purpose. Okay?
I don't know about that. I think he just wanted to inject his own politics into Star Wars, which is a really bad idea. Look, there's always been politics in Star Wars. I think I said this in a video, but it's always been structural. You know, like how a republic falls to an empire, vice versa, that kind of thing. You know, but injecting social politics into it that far is just ugh.
Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm sure he's proud to have been a part of this big movie.
Yeah.
But when you include this quote, when this is like a key element, let the past die and kill it if you have to, it sounds to me like he was telling us something. Star Wars, stop, nostalgia, get over it. And he is killing the past with this movie. The plot made no sense. The story elements didn't fit the continuity of Star Wars. And to me, they killed it.
Well, this is one of the reasons J.J. Abrams not too happy with The Last Jedi.
They killed everything I loved about it. And so, there are some people saying the extended universe is the only true canon, and this, now Last Jedi, is like bad fan fiction. Sure, but, I mean, I'm not going to probably ever engage with Star Wars content again. I'm a big fan of Star Wars and Star Trek for different reasons. Star Wars is a space sci-fi fantasy hero's journey, where, it starts with Luke Skywalker, and he discovers that he's, the son of this great Jedi Knight. He trains and gradually becomes powerful. And then we have the prequels that show us this universe as it was intact. I thought the prequels were a little hokey, but I was a kid for the most part when they came out, so I really enjoyed them. Jar Jar Binks, I don't understand why people hated him so much. And I think it was because you had an older generation.
Yeah, because Jar Jar Binks was cheesy, and then, you had people running around saying Jar Jar Binks is racist, and then it just turned into a complete shit show. The CGI on Jar Jar was not that great. Even though it was good for its time, I guess. It was just, the character was so damn cheesy, and it just didn't fit. And plus, you had, along with that, you had C-3PO and R2-D2 were supposed to be the comic. It was just too much comic relief. And they ended up phasing Jar Jar out toward, I think it was in episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
That was like, this is not what Star Wars is, and there was too much acrobatics, and the saber fights were all intense, and they were much, much less intense. There was much more chill in the original.
Yeah, but the dialogue was shit. The dialogue actually is not shit in the new movies.
And then you have The Force Awakens, which kind of rehashed A New Hope, which was okay to me. I didn't mind it. And introduced another hero's journey. Rey is this desert-dwelling scavenger, and it turns out she's going to go on this great adventure to become a great hero. And you had Finn, who escaped being a stormtrooper. I liked it. I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. It was sad to see, Han Solo die. And then Kylo Ren's like, oh, man. And I thought what was going to happen in The Last Jedi was that Rey and Kylo were going to switch. There was a big fan theory that there was... I
didn't think that was going to happen. If that's going to happen, that's going to be a 9. But then if that does happen, that's going to leave so many unanswered questions. And Daisy Ridley supposedly has said she's not coming back after 9. So I don't know.
In the trailer, they ordered Kylo to, fire on Leia. And he couldn't do it. And people were saying, like, oh, man, he can't do it. He's not going to be able to overcome that. Killing his father was probably too much for him. And he's going to turn back to the light side. And Rey is going to, dance with the dark side. And then I'm watching The Last Jedi, and I'm like, is it going to happen? Rey goes down and, looks in the dark tunnel and all that stuff, and, the mirror. And I thought, that would be so cool. Wow. That would subvert our expectations. It would flip the narrative on its head in such an exciting way. It's what blows my mind. People talk about how Star Wars The Last Jedi was supposed to, shake our expectations up. Change the narrative, not give us the same old. And that's why people thought Kylo would flip, because that's not something we'd seen. Oh my God, how perfect that has been. Look, in the prequel, you had the good guy, Anakin, slowly become bad. The originals were about him being Darth Vader. He's bad. Imagine then if in the 3rd series we get that inverted narrative where the bad guy turns back and becomes good.
I like
that. Would have been
that.
epic. And I thought that was going to happen.
I really like
Instead,
that idea.
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea why Snoke died. The story made no sense. Continuity errors, bad writing. And ultimately, I I was really angry at first, and then I just at some point stopped caring.
What if Snoke is Darth Plagueis? Am I even pronouncing that right? Darth Plagueis? What? Never mind.
And the reason I'm making this video is because I kind of realized it. It literally means nothing to me. And that was kind of like, wow, I used to love Star Wars a lot. You know, always making jokes about, you know, lightsabers and the stupid, you know, fake quote, Luke, I'm your father, which Darth Vader never said, but everyone thinks he said, probably because of, I think, the movie Black Sheep, where Chris Farley looks at the fan and he goes, Luke, I am your father, when actually he said, no, I am your father. But anyway,
that's nitpicking. Come on, man. Come on.
Excited for Knights of the Old Republic, you know, back in the day. Battlefront 2 excited me, but then there's just been slip up after slip up, and now it's just, I just don't care anymore.
Ah, come on, man.
I'm not going to go see any more Star Wars movies.
Yeah, you are.
When Solo came out and everyone started complaining about it, I looked up the reviews and saw the reviews are actually okay. And a lot of people who didn't like The Last Jedi said the movie is actually a great popcorn.
The only complaints about Solo were the boycott, and I want a YouTuber to play Han Solo because he can do a good impression, which is nothing. That doesn't mean you can act because you can do a good impression. It was all a shit show, bro. It was a shit show.
Flick. Don't expect the greatest thing in the world, but by all means go watch it. They talked about a Boba Fett movie, an Obi-Wan movie, and I didn't care. I felt literally
I care about
nothing.
an Obi-Wan movie.
And then when someone brought up to me the next movie, 9, and wondering what they're going to do, I just don't care. I'm not going to go see it. That's just me. Maybe they'll keep making billions of dollars. I don't know.
Movies are subjective.
Good, you know, good on them if they do. By all means, wish everybody great success. But I guess this is me officially breaking up with Star Wars. I hope I can't say the same for Star Trek when they reboot the series with Patrick Stewart. I'm worried.
Oh, if it's anything like Star Trek Discovery, oh boy, you're in for a shit show.
That they're going to Mark Hamill Patrick Stewart, right? You know, what I mean by that is Mark Hamill had a bunch of kind of snarky side comments he made about Luke Skywalker being so dismal and upset. He talked about how this was the most enthusiastic character, and now all of a sudden you have this hermit. Hopefully when they bring back Patrick Stewart, they don't do the same. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening to this rant about science fiction and fantasy, and hopefully you all, you know, I don't know if you like Star Wars, but cool, man, I got no beef.
Well, I got no beef with you neither. I watch you every day. Keep up the good work while I'm at it. You're doing good stuff. Stay on the ground and keep filming.
If friends pressure me to sing it, I would. I'm not actively avoiding it. Like, the point I'm trying to make is that when the movie comes out, I really just have no interest. I'm looking forward to Fantastic Beasts.
You will.
You know, I'll go see that. I love Harry Potter. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the main channel.
Later, dude. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, we're done with this response. Okay. Where's my outro shit? Bye, guys. I must go to work. And hopefully get home before 1 o'clock. That would be nice. See you later.